What did you think last night when you saw the college football playoff rankings? And I mean, you guys are in pretty good shape there at number 14 now.
I thought that we needed to beat Wake Forest. That's what I thought. You know, I mean, you got 4 games left. We handle our business, then it'll be a relevant thing, but it's not relevant until we do that. So you're one poor game away from being back down, you know. And it's great to be recognized, don't get me wrong, but I'm more concerned about finishing where we want to finish than being there with 4 more games to play.
How hard is it for young people not to look ahead like that?
Impossible. Yeah, I mean, you have to talk
Especially
about
in
it.
the social
I
media
talked to
age.
him after practice today. I said, look, you got that going on. You got senior day. You got the military appreciation. There's all these awesome things, and they're great. But what would be really, really special is to win the game. So let's just do that. Worry about that and block everything else. So you can't ignore it. I mean, it's especially today. Everything in
What
front
was
of
the
it.
debate like for senior night with Wake Forest versus senior night with ECU? Was it a lot of it
You know, what
about
happened
travel
is,
plans
yeah, a lot of our
that
parents
have been happening for months?
coming from Arizona or California or New York have already bought plane tickets. And so when we sent the text to the seniors and said, can we do this? And half of them couldn't. And so it just wasn't worth it, you know, because of the money they'd already put in, you know, getting transportation. And it's not just parents. Some of them have brothers or sisters or people coming from all over. So it had nothing to do with wanting it to be Wake. It was just that we'd already set it out there and, you know, couldn't redraw or pull it back, I guess, at that point.
Have you seen enough in practice from either Big E or Shug or Nick that you have some confidence that they'll be able to play on Thursday?
Yeah, Nick and Shug practiced all week. He's still not in practice mode all the way. He is running and had his pads on doing things, but we haven't seen him play, so we'll just have to see how he feels in warm-ups tomorrow. And even if he doesn't get to warm-ups, I mean, we'll just have to see. I mean, he feels way better.
I mean, it is senior night for him, so.
Yeah, he feels way better, but we're not going to put him out there if the trainers say he's not going to be the way he needs to be. So he wants to play, I can tell you that.
How much did you get to see of Jamie Newman in high school, and what have you observed since?
We offered him coming out. We thought he was a really good player. He was in our camp. Big, strong guy, big arm, great kid. I know his coach thought a lot of him in high school, and there's not a lot of film this year. I mean, you see that he does run tough. I mean, he's not trying to go down. He's going to try to run through people. And so there's just not a lot of game reps to evaluate how he's going to handle, you know, crowd and the noise that goes along with it, and then bouncing back from adversity, all the things that quarterbacks have to deal with as starters. But I'm sure he's excited to compete against us, and it's a big opportunity for him, and obviously for us, it's a, you know, 3rd game in a row where we have a quarterback we're playing, and we don't know who it is sometimes, or we don't have film on him. It's kind of weird this late in the year.
What things have you guys done differently this week when you have a Thursday, a short week, but also a night game as well?
Well, the first thing you do is reprogram the guys on what day of the week it is, and that started after the game. You know, it was game week Tuesday when we were in the locker room after the win, and so, you know, today is whatever day it really is, but it's Friday to us, I guess, mentally. And you know, we take the pads off of them in these short weeks. We did the same thing against Louisville. Thought we played really fast against them, so we're just practicing in helmets and pro pads. And you only get a couple days of work. You know, coaches don't go to bed, really. I mean, it's a grind, but we love the grind. You know, I think everyone in our program likes a challenge, and I'm not complaining about it one bit. I look forward to playing, and wherever they put it on the calendar, let's go.
As part of the trade-off is that you get to be the national go-to game.
Yeah, kids want to be on national television. They want to be playing in front of an audience, and particularly when you get to do it. I mean, to me, this game is without a doubt the best atmosphere we have at Carter Finley. The military appreciation game is special. And so to have the troops here, whether they're active or not, the flag at halftime, the whole deal. I mean, and being in a state where there's so many bases, and it's awesome.
Off the top of my head, I feel like Clausen is the coach you've gone against the most in your career, because you had the Bowling Green and the Richmond game.
I didn't coach against him at Richmond.
That wasn't
That was Rocco.
Okay. Still feels like he's a guy you've matched up with a bunch of times in your career.
Once
what
at
impresses
Northern.
you about his teams?
You know, I think he's very smart. He understands his people on his roster. I think he gets them to play hard. You know, he's been different at Bowling Green than he was here offensively, and what they do is unique. But I think Dave's a really good person, first of all. I do like being around Dave and respect him a lot for building programs, and he treats people with respect. I think his kids play hard, and they're classy in how they do it. So there's mutual respect, I think, between the both of us, and look forward to competing against him because you know he's going to do a good job, X's and O's wise, and so do you.
Bradley Chubb getting honored. He seems to be one of those rare players where he transcends the program in the sense of people will be talking about him as an NC State guy for years, and recruits seem to be talking about him. Defensive linemen that are in high school all talk about him. A little different than the typical NFL player, but you know, for him to get honored this week, and I guess what's that been like?
Well, Bradley's first of all, I think is the backbone of what we try to build here. He's a guy that built himself into what he is. He took no shortcuts. He did things the right way. He treats people with respect. He plays harder than everybody on the practice field. And he prepares himself to be the best player on the game field. And he's doing that now. I mean, I was talking to one of their scouts this week, and he said that the guys were mad at him, I guess, in Denver when he first got there because he was practicing so hard. And now they're starting to practice like him because of his production. They're like, wow, you know, look at what's happening because of his practice habits. So he's a glue guy, man. I mean, he's a guy that transforms your locker room, and so proud of him and not surprised at all that it's happening, and look forward to recognizing him, and he deserves it. One thing, just so there's no misconception on Senior Day, I talked to Kelvin Harmon this week. He is going to go through Senior Day. He has not made any decisions, just so you guys know, but this is a milestone type thing. And he has a lot of family coming, which for him is very rare. And he's going to go through like Ryan and Chubb and all these guys. I'll get the NFL stuff back. But sometime during the bowl, we'll sit down with him and his dad and decide. He'll decide if he's coming back or not. And he said if he does, that he'll have 2 Senior Days. But he doesn't want to not have one if that's the direction he ends up. But I didn't want you guys misreading it or wondering why he's out there. But this is one of those things for him that he loves. Kind of the milestones of his career. I think it's really important, and he doesn't want to miss that if that's where he ends up at the end of the decision. But he has by no means made a decision yet and won't until he gets all of his information back. So didn't want to enter any reading into that any more than it was.
Most likely senior to be teary-eyed?
Him?
No, any
of
your
shoot.
seniors. Who would you have odds on?
Oh, man. Tyler Jones, maybe? I don't know. Big T. Those guys are pretty emotional guys. It's a special day. I mean, it's kind of anticlimactic in a way because they have another home game after this, but they mean a lot to our program, and always, you know, love that day for them.
Will there be any gestures at the ECU game of any kind?
There will be in-house for sure with me. I do a big thing with each senior the last time they play in our stadium, but not publicly. I won't.
Thank you.
Do you have a number 9 towel for Chubb?
That's a good idea, Joe.
Oh, I'm full of those, Coach.